Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I am your host, Bob Hickey, thanking you for taking a little bit of time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. We're going to go a little far afield today, maybe a little bit out of town, because some things interest me, and I hope they interest you. I'm joined today by my guests, Brian and Michaela Hopkins. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Michaela?
Morning, Bob.
Brian, how are you doing? So Foxborough Cable Access, as my legion of fans know, is a nonprofit organization. We're here to serve the JPEG needs of our community and education, government, and public access programming. So we are just one of the 200, 300 communities in Massachusetts that have cable operations, and you are joining me as a volunteer with Milford Public Access, and actually you host your own program, Milford Performs.
Yes.
I'm excited to learn about Milford Performs, and I hope folks at home appreciate where we're going with this. It's really that there is such a wealth of talent out there and such a treasure trove of interesting programming going on in all the communities throughout the Commonwealth, and it's really a matter of the talent and the really, what do we think is really cool and interesting that we bring to you here in Foxborough, and other communities do the same thing. And I just happened to stumble across this. I thought it was a fascinating show, so I'd like to learn a little bit more about it. So let's do that. Tell me about Milford Performs.
Okay, well, full name of the show is Milford Performs, a performing arts showcase. It's a showcase format, which means that unlike some of the other programs on Milford TV and other access shows, we actually record it, edit it, and present it as more of a studio program than a taping of a live performance. So, for example, if an artist comes in, we'll have musicians, mostly from the Milford area, but a lot of them are from what we call the Milford community, which not just bordering towns, but Milford and the area around it has a very vibrant live original music community. So we have artists who will play cover songs that are done by other artists out there in the public, in the taverns, the bars, the concerts, the festivals that they go to. But a lot of them come to Milford to perform their original works. So we've expanded over the year and almost 2 seasons now that we've been doing. So we include musicians from outside of Milford. We also have actors. We've had on a couple of shows from the local Performing Arts Center, and a couple of those, and dancers, including Michaela, and that's why she's wearing this particular T-shirt.
Oh, we'll get to ask about that soon. Yes.
Yeah. So
dance the magic.
Milford Performs basically then is a show at Milford TV. We bring in an artist. I arrange for it as the producer. I am responsible for lining it up. Although Michaela is certainly somebody who has somebody.
She's got contacts.
Oh yeah. She tells I have to run everything past her. If she says, "Dad, that's stupid," it doesn't get done. So
she's your quality control.
That's right. That's right. So
unfortunately, I have no quality control at Foxborough Central, so folks kind of get what they get.
So I'll contact the talent, as they call it, and find out if they want to come on. I have about a 40% success rate. I'll contact people unless I know them personally. If I know them personally, then they'll definitely come on.
But it's got to be an opportunity for them to perform, and I want to talk about Dance the Magic in a second also, but it's got to be a real positive for them also, because it gives these different acts exposure, and a dance troupe, acting, it gives exposure to the play, to the show, to the dance ensemble, and so there has to be a positive of that also. Now, and as we go along, we are going to get to see you put together a highlight reel of your season 2, and I watched it, and it is very, very cool. And I hope folks at home will enjoy that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But as I'm watching it, it's done very professionally, and the shows are almost in music video format, if you will. And I thought it was a very good watch, very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, a lot of what goes on there is just like when we were setting up for this morning shoot. Some things work, some things don't. If there are any technical issues, I can cut it out because, among other things, I'm also the editor, which means that while the cameras are rolling, while Michaela's shooting them with the camera, I'm usually watching the monitor, because I know later on I've got to go through it. Okay, this shot. Okay, not this shot. Okay, that. So I also do my own editing.
Well, we have some wonderful editors here for Foxborough Central, and I know how difficult that is. Jillian Larson does most of our work right now, and she's wonderful putting this together, the flying graphics that you folks are watching at home, and then including splicing in the video that we were watching in just a few minutes. But with the editing, that is such a different skill set, but that's one of the really good things about volunteering for the local cable,
definitely.
is that you learn these skills. You learn the editing, you learn the performing, you learn the camera work, and as my poor volunteers here know, Betty Travers, Deb Storrs, Gary Nash, and Paul Beck, they know that I am completely incompetent when it comes to anything technical, which I guess is why I'm best suited for here, although I do have a face for radio, but we'll get to that later. Michaela, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Your dad's been bogarting the entire interview, can you believe it? So, Dance the Magic, tell me about that.
So last year, my dance troupe, we went to Disney World in Orlando, and we got to dance and compete and be in the parades they had down there. So it was a lot of fun.
Dance troupe is named?
King Dance Academy.
King Dance Academy, and they're out of Milford.
They're in Milford.
They're in Milford. So that was your hook into performing. I assume you've been dancing for a little bit longer. You seem very confident, very positive. You make good eye contact, so you've got some experience. So now you are volunteering with Cable Access.
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
Well, my dad...
Your dad drug you along. He said, I need a volunteer. I know you. I will feed you. I will drive you there. Yes, that's how most of our volunteers come up.
I don't remember it quite that way, but let's hear what Michaela has to say.
Oh, you didn't offer to feed her? Well, okay. I bring my volunteers coffee, so.
Okay.
Yeah, like my dad, he originally got me into it, and he got my sister into it too, but she dropped out afterwards. But I got into it, and I still enjoy it, and I do other things other than stuff with my dad, so it's a lot of fun.
Nice, and you raise up a good point. It's a volunteer opportunity is like anything else. It has to be something that you're driven to do, passionate about, and also we try things. Some people try many different sports, and they finally find one they like. Some people try different organizations, civic groups, and they finally find one they like. It's important to be doing something. So how cool is it that you're out here at Cable Access, and also here in Foxborough, early in the morning. My apologies for school. But the piece that I want to talk about is the different acts in Milford. And Milford is a town of how many people?
About 27,000.
Okay, so you're roughly a third larger than Foxborough. So the number of acts, you have people to fill up the space. And the reason I ask is because here on Foxborough Central, I've had a few acts, and I'm passionate about the arts. I love it. We have the Orpheum Theater here in town. We have dance troupes. We have other performers. But one of my most memorable shows was the pastor of the Foursquare Church who was leaving town, and he brought his guitar, and we just sat and rapped and talked for an hour, and it's his goodbye concert to the folks here in Foxborough. So I've always wanted to sort of explore that a little bit further, so I'm really happy that you're here to join us today.
Yeah, well, my son and I have actually been to a show up here at the Orpheum when they did Sweeney Todd a bunch of years ago. So it does travel well.
Well, perhaps now is a good time to take a look at the highlight reel, and then when we come back, we can talk a little bit about what Season 2 had and what Season 3 has in store. So why don't we do that now? Milford Performs for you here in Foxborough Central.
At the Widow Scanlon, a quiet place for a drink. At the Widow Scanlon, a man and bullet will meet. That's why I'm here on this seat.
I'm being pulled in a new direction, but I think I like it. I think I like it.
Beneath our open sky.
And we're back. How are you doing? And we're back. Thank you so much for putting that together for us. That was Milford Performs Season 2, and you did all the editing on that.
Yes, that's right.
You really do edit. You don't just sing it.
No, I do everything.
It looked very professional.
Oh, thank you. We have some pretty nice equipment, and more important, up at Milford TV, more importantly, we have very dedicated professional help. So I didn't teach myself how to do that. Liz, who's the member coordinator up there, she helped me to learn how to do it, and if something gets stuck, Rob, who's the station manager, Daniel, who's the program editor, they're professionals at this. They can come along and help me with it. Although sometimes things get away from them too. Our very first show, our very first guest was the King Dance Academy, and we have an interview segment which you didn't see in there. Every guest comes on, they do some performing, and then there's a short interview segment, mostly to talk about what they do and what's coming up for them. So we did an interview with Miss Carlene and Miss Ashley, and we're talking along. I'm watching it for the first time in the edit room. And right in the middle of me asking a question of Miss Carlene, another show pops in. And it's from a talk show called Talk Show with R.J. Sheedy, and he just happened to be talking to somebody about alien invasions. So I lost a minute and a half of it to alien invasion. Somebody had to arrange it, but it turned out it was a technical glitch with the tape in it. So if you look at that episode, well, fortunately there was a DVD backup that I could go to, but ever since then we've been busting on RJ about his show breaking.
And I guess the key to that is always double check your work, right, folks?
That's right.
That's true in any industry.
Back
So
it
wait a
up.
second, you've got a
Back
great
it up.
idea. Alien invasions. Coming soon to an episode of Foxborough Central. So now probably is a good time to talk about how to get in touch with you. If you are a performer or you have an interest in maybe learning more about Milford Public Access, you can contact Bryant and Michaela at www.milfordperforms.com. And they also have an email address. It's milfordperforms@comcast.net. And they're also on Facebook. They can friend you. They can follow you. They can see the exploits and follow the cool acts that you have.
Yeah, I've actually been getting into all of this lately. I wasn't on Facebook before, but now I use it because I keep track of the acts that have been on our show, and I post a lot of their activities on our Facebook page.
You link it up, sure. So actually, as a performer, they come in and they're getting more exposure, and it continues. That's really sharp. I should probably do more of that here also. Except I'm not all that good with Facebook, although I do try. Lauren Bertar, our program manager here, she does so much better, and she actually tries to help me, but I fail miserably at that. So, well, good for you. Do you help with the Facebook?
I'll post shorter things that'll be like, hey, check out this person. He'll post a paragraph. So
When you get older, the words come longer. What can I tell you?
I've come to find that to be true. So what does season 3 hold in store for us?
Well, season 3, we've already started to book some performances for that. We'll be leading off with the King Dance Academy again.
Okay.
Because
another year, and is this are you still involved with King Dance? So you're multi-talented, multifaceted, do well in school.
Yep.
Go with me on this. This is Hollywood. We can do that.
We'll be recording soon a performance by Ariana Lyrist, who's a local musician, songwriter, who's schedule we have a hard time keeping track of these days because she's actually moved on to Nashville.
Oh.
And several of our acts now record in Nashville and perform out of there, and we catch them when they come home.
So you're going national a bit.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Maybe Milford Performs was one of the key stepping stones as these local groups made it to the big stage.
Well, the funny thing
Think
is,
of it that way.
the local radio station, WMRC 1490 up there, Ray Osier is the social promotions director, and he has started a local music award in the name of the radio station. And we've been nominated a couple of times for best local music television program. And,
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And they have other categories, and one of them was best local country or bluegrass. Well, there's this one group that comes on our show, older gentlemen. This is a nice way of saying it. They've known each other for 50 or 60 years, they think, or maybe more.
They have a mature friendship.
That's right. It's five or six men. They come on, and the only places they play are at the Willowbrook Restaurant twice a month at the Bluegrass Jam,
Okay.
and on Milford Performs. Well, they got nominated under the Bluegrass Country Awards category. I think unless these people go to the Willowbrook, the other place they've seen is our show. So in that case, we kind of made them. It's not like these guys need to be made at their advantage, but they're so much fun.
But it certainly is exposing people to a new audience, and I think that's what one of the really key things about cable, but also all the other medium, is that you're exposing yourself and reaching out to a different sector that you maybe wouldn't normally be able to touch. And so how cool is it that your program's able to do that with this group that plays, in their places they're comfortable with, and they've been doing it for many years. Absolutely understand it. We used to have a barbershop up here, and that's where you went to go hear the good music. But the Milford Performs is a really cool concept, and I'm so happy to see that it's a successful program, that you're enjoying it. You are enjoying it, right?
Oh yeah, well it's mostly.
She
a
didn't
great
say
time.
anything. She just
No,
laughed.
she just kind of laughed.
Yes.
Like, okay, Dad, give me a clue here. Give me a clue. No, we do have a really good time with that. I'm meeting a lot of people, and I wouldn't be able to meet otherwise. And they're coming out and performing for us, which some of the folks it takes a while because it's not like they go into a recording studio where there's nobody watching, or when they're practicing. Suddenly, everybody's watching, but nobody's there. And they're so used to having, if they're performing, nobody's there. It's because it's a Tuesday night and it's snowing outside. Nobody came to the venue, but that's not the same thing.
But the cameras are different, and it has to be something where you're comfortable with, and you're used to not really focusing on the camera, but just let it happen organically and let the performance happen. So it's an interesting dynamic that people don't really understand until they get into it.
We had a singer-songwriter from Upton by the name of Rob Madsen come out and to our show a couple months ago. And Rob is an excellent guitarist, an excellent performer, a published playwright, a well-respected actor, and he came out and he was going to open with a song that he knew, that he wrote, and he knew he had the story for it, and he told the story the first time, and just couldn't get the song right for about 8 tries. So we went on to 2 or 3 other songs, came back to his own song, and so because we were able to edit it, the story which he told here, and the music we were able to put together here, and now our producer and our director is a couple of times we've gone in since, and he's saying, "At the widow's Scantling," singing it. So the folks at home never know what happened, but there it is, multiple retakes, but we got it right.
Well, it's a good editor who's able to make it seem seamless and make it work.
I wouldn't know if it was good editing, but it at least worked.
So I've been joined by Brian and Michaela Hopkins, who together are the driving force behind Milford Performs out of Milford. Is it Milford Cable Access?
Yep, Milford Cable Access.
So if people wanted to Google you up and they forget what this program is telling them and they forget the fly-in graphics, they can just look up Google Milford Cable Access and they'll find you because there's a link. And from that link on your website, which is, I'm going to get it right, www.milfordperforms.com, that'll take you to all of your shows for seasons 1, season 2, and hopefully seasons 3 through 45.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not going to be a 45. I
No?
already told Michaela when she goes off to college, yeah, unless there's some
So this is a
groundswell
limited run.
Limited run, yeah. Unless there's some groundswell of demand, I'll probably move on and start doing some special projects with the station, and I hope somebody will be there to pick it up for me. But if not, then we'll have some dance extravaganzas, because we love having the dance studios in, not just Michaela's, but Elevate out of Bellingham, Sandra's out of Milford, Milford Dance Center. They come in, and the studio is a little bit longer than the room we're in now, but not a whole lot. And the girls come in and they dance in it, and we're the only show on cable access I know that has dancers. So they actually, I told the studio folks, look, I'm going to have as many dancers on as I can, because not only do I like dancing, but because nobody else has them.
That's right.
I like to have some identity of the show. So after this first season, they went out and installed new lighting over the section of the studio that we have dancers in. So now we've got new curtains there, we've got new lighting there, and so they were willing to move the entire studio around to bring in the dance troops.
So there's an investment in the production.
That's right.
Nice. So that means that you now have an obligation to put on even more and better and brighter.
Oh yeah.
No pressure.
No, not at all. We think it's getting better. Scott, who is the husband of Miss Carlene, the director of King Dance Academy, is he's always telling me, he watches the show, he says, "Brian, that was a good show," or "Brian, who was that?" But he says my interviews are getting better, so I got to trust Scott on that one.
Well, I was able to take some time and watch a couple of the programs, and I thought the interviews were fine. I hope I will become as good an interviewer at some point. Maybe we'll see, maybe I won't. So we're running out of time. I'm going to give you the last word, but I do want to touch on volunteering, because Foxborough Cable Access, as with Milford Cable Access, is totally driven by the volunteers and the programs that we create, develop, and then put on the air. So I'll ask you first, how did you decide you wanted to do that? And don't just say your dad. I mean, there's got to be some reason why you stuck with it, because I have kids, and all of our kids will try anything once because we drag them to it. But the fact that you're coming back and doing it more and sitting here with me, that says something. So how did you get involved, and why? Are you still here?
I am still here because I really enjoy doing the camera work, and it's a lot of fun. So I get to see all these people come in, and like they're all confused, but then they perform, and it's like, oh, that was great. So it's really enjoyable, and then it's fun to do it with my dad. So
Nice.
Well, I wouldn't do the show without Michaela. I've already told her that a couple of times. But what moved me to actually start the show was I had been volunteering with a bunch of other organizations, the Cub Scouts, the Milford Performing Arts Center, a few other over the years. And then a couple of years ago, some old friends of ours in Milford, their house burned down. They barely got out of there before the house burned down, and they had nothing left. So I decided that I would use my contacts, which were pretty limited at the time, to try to drum up a fundraising concert on the local town green. So I contacted Ronnie Osier, who's a DJ who's been volunteering at the middle school dances, middle and elementary school dances for years. I said, Ronnie, can you help me put together the show? And he put me together with his nephew Ray at the radio station, and we got some acts. And we put on a concert and raised some money. Ron and Ray and a few other guys were talking and said, look, we've got all these great acts, and we got no place to play other than at the bars, which sometimes don't even pay us.
Right.
It's just an open mic, give us the tips. So it's like, we need more exposure. And this is great because the Milford TV people came out to record the show.
Sure.
So I got to thinking about it. I said, well, why not put together a show that lets people get out of the rehearsal halls and into people's living rooms? So dance companies like to come on our show because, for the most part, the only time they get out is for competitions and recitals, which means they're in front of other dancers or parents. Well, with our show, now they get to reach out to a broader audience so that the people can see. Same with the musicians. They like to come on our show because they know that not only are they getting a professional quality recording session that they couldn't possibly afford if they were going to hire
An excellent point, by the way. It is studio time. And if you think about that, that's a service that local cable performs that you really can't even quantify because it just doesn't exist outside of this venue. Yeah, and the theater companies come on to our show to promote the shows that they're in. Our next episode, which premieres this Friday, has the Enter Stage Left youth group, basically, come on to our program with Mackenzie, Michaela's twin sister. Okay. And they'll be singing about, for their Sondheim on the Movies show, which is at the end of the month. So it's a good promotion for them. I tell all of my acts that I shamelessly shill for them once they come on my show. Absolutely. and so we want people to know what's going on in the community, who's doing it, and where they can get in contact with these people. And so that if you want to hire them or if you want to know where they're going to be next, just contact them and they'll tell you. Well, I'm going to shamelessly shill for you right now because you've done a wonderful job of coming out and sharing with us about your experience and why you volunteer in the show. So I'm going to give you the last word in just a second, but because we are so close to being out of time, I can't even stand it. I'm here with Brian Hopkins and his lovely daughter, Michaela, who are the driving force behind Milford Performs, a cable access show in Milford that highlights and showcases the performing arts, dance, music, performing, acting, anything that you would think of in Milford that has to do with the arts. And they've even gone national with a couple of the national acts. So we'll see. Anybody who wants to check them out, of course, can go to their website at www.milfordperforms.com. You can also email them if you know of an act and maybe want to let them check you out. Who knows? At milfordperforms@comcast.net. And also you can friend them on Facebook, Milford Performs. Bryant, Michaela, last word. Well, Bob, I just wanted to say thanks for having us down here. It's really good that cable access people can be together. I like what I see here at the studio. You guys got a wonderful set, and thank you so much for having us. Well, I appreciate your coming down. Michaela, you get the absolute last word.
Thank you. This was great.
Well, you know, it was great to have you, Michaela and Bryant Hopkins of Milford. And for those of you here in Foxborough who would like to maybe follow in Bryant and Michaela's footsteps, as you can see, there is no clear path as to how you get involved. It's just important that you check us out and maybe you can get involved. Check us out at 28 Central Street here in lovely downtown Foxborough. We've got the blue awning and we want to see you down here. Or call us at 508-543-4757. Talk to Marg at the front desk. She'll hook you up with Michael Weber, our executive director, who makes it all happen, as well as my volunteers, who I already named earlier, and I don't want to get them swelled heads by saying their names again because they'll never let me live it down. Until next time, folks, have a great day, Foxborough.